But first, let's turn our focus to the increasingly large salaries that are paid to leaders of elite private colleges. Our investigative team is in the process of reviewing millions of records for nonprofit organizations across the country. And one early thread that has emerged from that is the sometimes eye-popping salaries that their leaders command. Now, by far the largest salaries of nonprofits go to executives of healthcare systems. Some exceed $20 million a year, and we'll be digging into that. But next in line are university leaders, the University of Pennsylvania, Columbia, Harvard, USC, and many others. It's common for prominent athletic coaches to get millions of dollars each year, especially if they earn bonuses for, say, winning a national championship. But university presidents have apparently caught on to that play for bonus cash and can double their base salaries, many of which already exceed $1 million, with similar bonus agreements. Now, a researcher at a public university who has studied the president's contracts for more than a decade has found that in a recent 10-year period, the inflation-adjusted pay for college leaders has increased more than 50%. Now, that far outpaces the increase in pay for other university employees. The researcher, James Finkelstein, a professor emeritus of public policy at George Mason University in Virginia, has concluded that some of the presidents have co-opted the coaches' bonus pay system and that there has been a shift in the board leadership of these institutions. They're often made of folks who earn tremendous wages in the private sector who are more agreeable to higher salaries for university presidents. Now, these are nonprofit institutions that have a much lesser tax burden than if they were for-profit. They're exempted from most income and property taxes, but they do pay payroll taxes. Now, federal lawmakers in the recent One Big Beautiful Bill Act extended an excise tax on the highest earners at nonprofits. That mostly affects the healthcare systems. But President Donald Trump has repeatedly threatened to revoke the tax-exempt status of elite universities that refuse his directives to overhaul their policies, especially those that might give preference in hiring and admissions based on race and gender. Others have questioned the fairness of federal policies that allow the schools to skirt tax liabilities while they amass tens of billions of dollars in assets. They develop patented technologies with government support that are worth hundreds of millions. And some of these institutions are getting $1 billion a year in federal grants. And then there's the ballooning salaries. Columbia University's president was paid about $4.4 million in a recent year. The University of Southern California's president made about $4 million. Now, the University of Pennsylvania's president recently made $5 million, and his predecessor was paid a $20 million retention bonus on her way out the door. This was just a few years ago. It was a so-called deferred compensation payment, which some universities use to ensure their leaders will stay. They call them golden handcuffs in the private sector. Now, the universities set aside a certain amount of pay each year, which isn't paid out unless the presidents remain in their jobs for a certain amount of time. But it has another hidden benefit for the universities in that it hides the real compensation for the presidents. Rather than having to face some amount of outrage at their pay each year, the potential outrage is confined to the end of the president's term. And there's the issue of property taxes and how some large cities with lots of nonprofits have asked them to voluntarily surrender payments in lieu of taxes to pay for city services. But most don't meet the full amount of those requests. I've gone on long enough about this story, so if you want to learn more, check out our website at thecentersquare.com.